Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Dawn Melanie. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of my series titled Managing Self, where I'll share with you, the listeners, how I've managed myself successfully dealing with multiple sclerosis for the past over 20 years. Nope, it hasn't been all rainbows and sprinkles, unicorns and flowers. Some days are absolutely horrible, but nonetheless, I do try to look on the bright side of things, the bright side of life. One of the metaphors I oftentimes use is my glass is always half full. I never say my glass is half empty. That's just the way I try to view things with a positive attitude. Again, look on the bright side, no matter what. And yes, I do know that is easier said than done. I know I've had my struggles or my setbacks within this, or flare-ups, exacerbations, whatever you want to call it. Loss of vision, loss of hearing, difficulty speaking, difficulty walking, unable to drive, coordination skills lacking. Where I could had difficulties even holding a fork properly without either dropping it or tossing it across the room. These things, that's. I think it's minor compared to some of the stories I hear from some of my friends with multiple sclerosis, but nonetheless, we all have our challenges. And like I said, I like to look at my glasses half full. Now dealing with multiple sclerosis for the past 17 years, I said 17 years, amazing. For the past 20 years, over 2 decades, I do try to maintain my way of life, actively engaged in a fitness community, working out, haven't competed in over 5 years, but I've helped other people with their coaching of posing and with their programs. I am a certified fitness trainer, also a certified public accountant, but I try to stay active doing those elements that I know have helped me over the years, and those are fitness primarily, or a large part of. Also, I like to have fun. People forget to have fun. I like to have fun. I enjoy spending time with my family and my friends, and of course, I like food. I love food. Again, these are all elements that I know help me to manage my multiple sclerosis. But ultimately, I do hope that you'll all gain some insight on ways that I've approached my management of my multiple sclerosis, and perhaps apply those elements into your own lives, and kind of tweak them so that you can have the best healthy life you can. I'm not a medical. Pardon me. I am not a medical professional, but I do consider myself an expert in my multiple sclerosis, my individual case. And I do hope that all of you listeners will hopefully boost. I don't want to say transform or change your lives. Perhaps either transform or tweak it or boost it by learning about elements of things that I do, and like I said, just incorporating into your own lives. Hopefully, whatever it is, MS, multiple sclerosis, any chronic illness. I hope no one out there has to go through a prolonged period where they have difficult cycles in their lives. Let's say patterns, anything that keeps us stuck. Things that kind of, you feel like you're stuck in a rut. Stuck in a rut, like a stick in mud. Just unhappy, not feeling productive with your lives. I hope that happens to no one. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just sharing with you my story here. Like I said, it probably, actually it does probably apply to not just the chronic illness or disease known as multiple sclerosis, but also other areas which are also affected by multiple sclerosis. And that includes relationships, careers. I know I had to end mine because of multiple sclerosis, but they're all intertwined, or shall I say, MS permeates them all. Well, I know how I manage MS permeating every aspect of my life is I slow down. Not as often as I should, but I do try to slow down each day. I slow down and express my gratitude. Basically, gratitude is it's an emotion. And when I say I express my gratitude, I express my appreciation for what I do have and for what I don't have. Of course, glass half empty, half full. I try to look on the bright side. I'm thankful for even the small things that I do have. With MS or without MS, there's still something to be thankful for. And it's been evident in my life that having an emotion of gratitude more so than of anger or disgust or disappreciation of situations. I know that that's led to my own self or my own increased level of happiness. It's actually been scientifically proven. If we learn to express gratitude and accept that we'll be happier. I mean, of course, happier means we'll have less stress. Less stress means we'll have less risk of an incident of a MS flare-up or exacerbation, which we all don't want. Also, we'll have more increased productivity in our lives, whether it be personal work, whatever we're doing. And like I said, I know that I need to do more of that, and it's unfortunate because, like, right now, as I'm talking to you now, I've gone through some things this past year, and I've been grateful for what I do have, and I need to kind of really hone in and focus on that because, I know that it's better for my health to be grateful than to be, bummed out about something. So that's one element that, how I deal with MS kind of affecting all of my life is gratitude. Another thing is looking on the bright side, and that's kind of goes hand in hand with the former element that I mentioned, gratitude. When I mentioned looking on the bright side of situations, I mean, me personally, I view challenges not as a bad thing, but I view challenges as a good thing, a potentially awesome thing, because challenges are, I figure, an opportunity. They're opportunities for growth. 2010, 2018, I had to literally learn how to walk again. Not with crutches and things like that, but to be able to use my motor skills effectively, and to walk, to do things that most people just don't even think about. That was a challenge for me, no doubt, but I grew as an MSer, and I was able to successfully walk a straight line. Not too often, but I did. I think at least 20. I think it was 25 feet in the morning when my energy's good. But I was able to walk a straight line, 25 feet forward, and walking backwards. So I look at this as a challenge. That's a challenge with MS. People go, well, I can't do this anymore. I always say, well, I can't do a lot of things anymore. However, there are things that I can do that I never even thought of trying before, and there's things that I can do now in a different way. So I don't want to say I can't do it anymore. I may do it a little bit differently. I still work out. I just don't work out quite the same as I did, but I get the same. Actually, I get better results now that I'm older. I think that's a factor as well. But again, gratitude. and looking on the bright side of things, viewing viewing challenges as opportunities for growth and for further development. Those are two elements that help me deal with, like I said, the ever changing MS permeates all of our freaking lives. Sorry. Okay, so the third of four elements that I want to talk about as far as me, how I express my gratitude, I try to on a daily basis. That is, actively, or shall I say consciously, think about it to get it done. Yes, I try not to overlook the little things in life that are positive, or that that aren't awful or catastrophic, shall I say. Look at the bright side of things, and don't shun challenges, but take them. Let's go head to head with challenges, because I know I can grow. The third one is, speaking of growth, is to look at those challenges as opportunities to give. Well, not just the challenge. Well, the challenges are help me grow, but opportunities to give. That's a third element to which I use to express gratitude, and to help to, I'm going to say, nurture my gratitude. Again, an emotion that has been scientifically proven to increase happiness. I'll look for opportunity to give and not just take. My mom. Yeah, I'm going to quote my mom. Mom, I'm quoting you again. My mom says, the Bible says the Lord likes a cheerful giver, and she's a cheerful receiver. Now, of course, she's saying that tongue in cheek, but oftentimes that's how many of us behave. We take, and not so much equally give. Well, it's important for us to consciously think about that, the giving to others and not just the taking. One thing I do, I'm sure many listeners out there do as an act of giving, is volunteering. I know I can't, well, I haven't done the MS 150 since 2008, but I should be volunteering out there for the riders who are, and I have not. So it kind of disappoints me. Yeah, disappoints myself about that. Opportunities where I can volunteer and help out people. We should all take advantage of that. One thing that I do put my hand in, or I do, is there are some members I've met in the social media group with MS, and it's basically MS and exercise group. And the MSers, of course, some have been in the gym and working out, some have not. So, depending on the status of their workout knowledge, it varies across the spectrum. And what I've done is I've made myself available for anybody in the area who needs help to, give them assistance and direction, knowledge, advice, one-on-one personal training, free of charge. And it's, guess what? It's made me happy to see the progress that they're making. They're thankful for me being available and for assisting them. But, that's the way I reckon that I do volunteer. Basically doing what I can do, when I can do it. And it doesn't put me out of my way. So it allows me to do just that, to volunteer and to give, not just to take. Okay, then the last of the four elements that I want to talk about today regarding gratitude is showing appreciation. Not just saying it, not just saying, hey, you appreciate it to, whomever, spouse, parent, child, friend, acquaintance, stranger. Not just say it, but to do it. I know that I used to think it was kind of, I'll say, cheesy. This is the dawn of early years when I was a kid. I thought it was like cheesy to get like one of those kind of stock thank you cards with somebody kind of scribbled just some words on there. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't a Hallmark. I'll be honest. I was like, Hallmark's the best. I actually thought, well, that's all they got. But today I realized that, well, you know what? In addition to just buying a thank you note or a thank you card, and giving it to somebody to say thank you, I find it more personal when I write a note. I know when I receive a note, I definitely am like, oh, I got a personal note from my last physical therapist, and that just was a really sweet touch. So I told my sister, she's like, oh, my sister didn't have a card to give to somebody for, I think it was a Mother's Day. She's like, I got to go to the store now and get a card. And I was like, man, you just keep those blank cards in your car. That way, if any situation arises, you can just pull out one of those and, write a personalized note there. And I said, it kind of means more than just something you pick up at the store, which, is whatever they have left. You take what you get. Anyway, as I was saying, to write a note, a personal note, really does mean a lot to people. I know it. I've received them and I've given them. And, I try to just put information on the note, like basically how they've impacted your life, and thank them for that. I know it's funny. I guess technically I got a digital thank you note this morning. I was at the gym and I was like, oh, there's a message here. And a friend, it's actually a Facebook friend, and she sent a voice message to me. In this said message, she let me know that she believed that I was deeply loved, highly appreciated, and also totally valued. Yep, she went on and told me that I was fabulous. I like that, fabulous. But she acknowledged, I'd say, yeah, she acknowledged it, or her opinion. She expressed that it takes a lot to do what I do. And what she means by that is just the fact that I work out and I try to maintain that fitness level despite the challenges and adversities that MS deals to me. Like I said, again, I'm always available for help because you know what? When I started this whole fitness journey, almost, 2002, I started competing. That was actually 3 years after my MS diagnosis. Back then, not many people were not many people in the fitness industry fully had an understanding of MS and the limitations and complications that it could render or, place in someone's life. So I took the liberty to learn as much as I can about the mechanics, the effects and things like that. Basically to learn how I can get the same effects, if not better, but perhaps a different way. I knew I would have to take longer rest. I know that I would have to take into consideration I was taking various injectables, at any given time. So that's what she means by that. It takes a lot to do what I do. That made me happy. And I'm going to say that I usually don't obey or when somebody passes me one of those tag X number of people or send this to X number of people. I usually do not do that. However, this message I did because I thought it was important for me to pay it forward and to recognize other people I thought were had those qualities as well. Deeply loved and appreciated and valued. I thought that would mean as much to them as it meant to me. And, that positive energy, I believe, to keep that cyclical going around, we, like a boomerang, throw it and it's returned to us. Hopefully tenfold. Which brings me to a quote by Benjamin Franklin. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. That more or less sums up why I do what I do, as far as when I do respond to people with questions they ask me about working out or diet and eating different foods and how it may affect them, and my opinion. They're asking for my opinion, asking for a workout program or something like that, or a diet regimen, something to be accountable for themselves. When I can just give them the information and say, well, here it is. But what I like to do is to explain to them why I'm giving them what I'm giving them. One thing people have oftentimes ask me is, what do you eat? I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get rid of the stomach. What do you eat? I see you got a flat stomach. Well, this is true. But if you ate what I ate, chances are you will not have a flat stomach. Genes, the genetic code plays a large factor in that. And my dad as well. My dad's 85, be 86 in August. Small man, small frame, high metabolism, eats everything under the sun, all night long, all morning. Just like who? Just like me. Or should I say, I do just like him. My point is, just like our MS is different, our symptoms are different, our how we respond to medications, it's different for each of us. That's generally how life is, The path that I walk, my journey that I'm on is different than anybody else's. So I want to not just tell someone, hey, eat this, do that, yada, 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 and perform the exercise like this, or, make sure you eat this food this time of day, this number of carbs and fat and protein grams. Yeah. But I want to involve them. I want to involve them so that they can learn. And this is exactly the way that I learned how to manage my MS, particularly with exercising. Back in 2002, I did my first competition, and I didn't know what I was doing, let's face it. But I did what everybody else was doing, and that was the wrong answer, because they were doing tons of cardio, and I didn't need to do any. They were cutting... They cut pizza out their diet, and so did I. But, when I started winning, pizza was in my diet every week, which is why it's still in my diet every week. A whole pizza, an entire whole pizza, Fridays, every week. Because my body likes that, and that's how my body responds favorably to this. I'm not gluten intolerant. I know some people are. I'm not lactose intolerant. I can eat dairy. I eat red meat. All these things. But see, that's my body. So my point here is, I think it's better for me to involve people involve them in, like I said, the whole exercise thing like that, and when I have an opportunity to share with someone, it helps me grow. It helps them grow. It makes me happy. It makes them happy, and it's a win-win situation. So that's, I want everybody to think about that. Like, hey, just don't give somebody the answers. Kind of like, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach him how to fish. You feed him for a lifetime. And that's kind of like along the same line as theirs, like teaching them so that they can more or less be self-sufficient on their own, so they can have the best life with or without MS, healthy life, striving for the best at all times, and also thriving and being the most productive that they can be. So as I close this week's episode of Manage Yourself, I want to talk about allergies briefly. And allergies just as a topic to kind of relate to MS, which is, an autoimmune disease. But an allergy is the body's reaction to a allergen, or a substance. And basically, our immune system responds to the invading allergen by releasing histamine and other chemicals that typically trigger the symptoms in the nose, lungs, throat, eyes, nose, ear, basically everywhere, like that. So that's an allergy. We know that. And like many people out there listening today, I don't have allergies, that is allergy problems, but many do. I know that the way to work through that, some might say, you don't have it, so you don't know what we're going through. Okay, I do have multiple sclerosis. Remember, relapsed remitting over 20 years. I know that whatever I have, difficult adversities I'm dealing with, I know that I have to wade through it. So I would like to run through it. I'd like to, do the breaststroke or whatever as fast as a swimming stroke is. I want to get through it. But whatever I do, I don't want to just stand there on the shore looking at it, at the problem, catastrophizing, I believe is the term. I don't think it should be like that. I want to work it. I want to address it. Sometimes it's going to be tough. You have to dig deep, be really deliberate, and like I said, those opportunities that you have to better yourself, or perhaps better someone else to give and help them. Let's not let any opportunities like that pass us by in the future. Deal? I don't know. Perhaps. So basically, I want to ask each of you out there to grab a broom, broom with the straw thingies, and sweep the floor. Grab a broom and sweep the floor. I want you to sweep your own personal floor, ridding it of any built up dust. I know that the more we do dust, or sweep the floor, shall I say, the easier it becomes each day. That's what I wanted to say. Again, when I said sweep the floor, I want it to become easier and easier every passing hour, every passing minute, every passing second of each day. I know that everyone doesn't tend to their dust, their dirt, their crap, but it's not an excuse. I know it's not an excuse for me to neglect the management of myself, and I hope it's not an excuse for you of the management of yourself. So whether you're dust mite sensitive or just a neat freak, realize that dust enters your lives daily. You can run, you can attempt to hide, but for you to live the healthiest life you can, basically sometimes you're going to have to cohabitate with the dust from time to time. But know that we should I know that I do what I can do when I can do it, if I can do it, to manage myself, to manage Dawn Melanie. This has been Dawn Melanie. I do thank you for joining me this week for Managing Self, and I hope you'll join me next week for the next show. Until then, I pray that you have a blessed week.